Here's something nobody tells you about learning English. You're probably doing it completely wrong. Right now, millions of people spend thousands of dollars on classes and apps, putting in hours every day and getting nowhere. They hit what I call the fluency wall. They know the rules, they've memorized vocabulary lists, but when it's time to speak, their minds go blank. Meet Sarah. After 18 months of study, she could ace written tests but couldn't order coffee without freezing. Or Carlos, who spent 2 years reading novels but couldn't understand his colleagues in meetings. The question isn't whether you're studying hard enough. The question is, what if everything we've been taught about language learning is backwards? From day one, we're taught that language learning is about correctness, perfect grammar, flawless pronunciation, 0 mistakes. It's like learning to swim by studying water physics while standing on the pool deck. Technically accurate? Sure. Helpful? Not even close. Think about children learning their first language. A 3-year-old says, "I go to the park," and nobody panics. They make thousands of mistakes and somehow become fluent. But as adults, we're paralyzed by the fear of saying, "I go," instead of "I went." Our brains get so busy calculating verb tenses that we forget the actual point, communication. Here's the neuroscience. When you focus on perfection, you're using your slow, analytical prefrontal cortex. But fluent speech comes from procedural memory, the same system you use to ride a bike. And you can't access that system while overthinking. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is being understood. Those are radically different targets. Everyone says, just read more books in English. Sounds reasonable, except there's a massive problem. When you read, you're building a vocabulary of words you recognize visually, but may have never heard pronounced. You're creating ghost words, terms you know on paper but can't use in conversation. A medical student learned hundreds of technical terms from textbooks. She could write them perfectly. But when discussing cases with doctors, she mispronounced ophthalmology so badly that nobody understood her. The knowledge was there, locked behind the wrong pronunciation. If you can't pronounce a word correctly, you won't recognize it when others say it. You've learned a word that exists only in your head, useless in the real world. If your goal is to actually speak English, flip the ratio. Spend 80% of your time listening and speaking, only 20% reading and writing. Reading feels safe and productive. Speaking feels messy and uncomfortable. Guess which one actually works? There's a concept in linguistics called comprehensible input, and it's the cheat code for language acquisition. Your brain acquires language when you understand messages, not when you memorize rules. If you watch a video where someone points at a brown dog and says, "This is a dog, it's an animal, the dog's color is brown," your brain doesn't need translation. Context does the heavy lifting. Research by linguist Stephen Krashen showed this method is roughly 4 times more effective than traditional grammar approaches. And here's the kicker. You only need about 3,000 words to understand 95% of conversational English. Not 50,000, 3,000. But those words need to be learned through context, repetition, and real usage. Not flashcards, not vocabulary lists. Actual comprehension. This approach builds multiple skills simultaneously. Pronunciation by hearing it, grammar by seeing it in action, vocabulary through context. Most critically, you start thinking in English instead of translating. That translation habit, it's the silent killer of fluency. Every time you translate in your head, you're adding extra steps. English thought, translate to your language, formulate response, translate back, speak. You're running a marathon while everyone else sprints. The solution sounds weird but works. Narrate your life in English. Brushing teeth? Think I'm brushing my teeth. Walking to work? I'm walking to the subway. Making coffee? I'm pouring water into the kettle. It feels absurd at first. You might feel a little crazy. But you're building neural pathways that bypass translation entirely. You're training your brain to think in English, not about English. Pair this with daily listening, even just 15 minutes, and you're mimicking how children acquire language. They listen constantly, then speak. They don't study grammar rules. They absorb patterns until speaking becomes automatic. Here's where most learners fail. They study for 2 hours on Sunday, feel accomplished, then do nothing until next weekend. Language learning doesn't work like cramming for exams. It works like building muscle. 15 minutes every single day beats 2 hours once a week. Your brain needs consistent exposure to form lasting connections. Stop for a week, and those neural pathways start weakening. The modern advantage? You can learn anywhere. Watch YouTube during breakfast. Listen to podcasts during your commute. Use AI tools to practice conversations while waiting in line. You have access to native speakers from every English-speaking country, 24/7. Here's something powerful. Take online courses in English about topics you care about. Learning photography? Take the course in English. Interested in productivity? Find an English program. You're learning 2 skills simultaneously, and suddenly English isn't boring. It's the tool you need. Let's destroy one final myth. Fluency means perfection. English is a linguistic Frankenstein, borrowed from Germanic, Latin, Greek, Celtic, and Norwegian. It's notoriously inconsistent. Native speakers constantly struggle with spelling and pronunciation. We have words like kernel that make zero phonetic sense. There are over 1 million words in English. Native speakers use about 20,000 to 30,000. Even they encounter unfamiliar terms daily. So what's fluency? Can you express your thoughts, understand responses, and keep conversations flowing? If yes, you're fluent. Your mistakes only matter if they block communication. Forget a word? Use gestures. Native speakers do this constantly. We mime actions. We say, "You know that thing." We work together to build meaning. Language is a tool for connection, not a performance judged on technical perfection. The secret to fast fluency isn't more studying. It's smarter exposure. Listen daily. Speak without fear. Stop translating. Embrace mistakes as data, not failures. Sarah, who couldn't order coffee? She switched to comprehensible input. 3 months later, she conducted job interviews in English. Carlos? He stopped reading novels and started watching workplace shows. 6 months later, he led meetings. The difference wasn't talent, it was method. You already have everything you need. The internet. 15 minutes a day. The willingness to sound imperfect. Start today. 1 phrase out loud. 1 short video. 1 thought in English. Fluency isn't a destination you reach by studying harder. It's a skill you build by using the language messily and consistently, until your brain stops translating and starts thinking. That's when everything changes.